Welcome everyone to the Animated Movie Awards of 2023, a little side story we're doing as a replacement for the Oscars since they never really represent animated movies well anyway. Today, I'm just gonna full on give you my opinion for about 20 minutes, does that sound alright to you? We're gonna be ranking all 2023 movies, at least animated and probably ones that I've seen, from the worst to the very, very best. Previously, we talked about the actual financial profiting from all these movies. This list is gonna be similar in some places and then wildly different in others, since last time we couldn't even talk about streaming movies properly because I have no idea what their box office numbers is. Netflix keeps a very tight, controlled safe on that because they don't want to admit that they lose massive amount of money every time they make one of these. Still, let's start off at the very bottom of our list for the movie that I found to be the least enjoyable in animated form this year. And while you can argue that Disney's Peter Pan or Ant-Man Quantumania is technically animation, no, we'll skip all of that. Indiana Jones was pretty bad, FNAF movie was pretty alright, and Under the Boardwalk I never even got to see. But the biggest disappointment for me has to go for the one where you'll think of, it is Disney's Wish. I won't bash on this one too much since you've probably only recently heard about this one, but you know all the things about it. It's terrible, it's pointless, it's heartless, it's an embarrassment of 100 years of Disney. It really is just the worst of the worst. Delete it, remove it, forget it even existed. It apparently lost $83 million, maybe it deserves it. Poof, off it goes. So number 13 on our list, oddly enough there's only 14 movies to really talk about, that's surprising, comes in at the next least successful movie of the year. It is from DreamWorks and Ruby Gillman. Having a lot of the same traits as Disney Wish, but maybe a little less aggressively, this movie was just a bit of a disappointment. I was rooting for this movie going into it, and then it turned out to just sort of be exactly as safe and standard as the trailer thought. It's all about a Kraken being the good guy and the mermaid being the bad. And then the story ended up being that the mermaid was bad, for no real reason. For being a coming-of-age story, it didn't really do much aging. I love the family members and all of their different influencer integrations. The dad is an ASM artist after all, but nah. The visuals are lovely. I know a lot of people don't like the jumbly, wibbly, wobbly limbs of them all, but I could get behind it. I thought it was quite nice. Now suddenly I'm seeing it everywhere. Even the Trolls 3 ending has that, but a weird trait. Hey, speaking of Trolls 3, it's the next one on our list. I think it really says something when a Trolls movie ranks higher than your recent DreamWorks and Disney movie, but this Trolls movie wasn't as bad as the others. I have quite notably made terrible reviews on Trolls 1 and Trolls 2, and to be fair, I still stand by it. Those movies are pretty ass. And I'm, in general, not a big fan of jukebox musicals. This one wasn't too bad. The plot is pretty standard, that they're getting the whole band back together, so they go to different lands and worlds to find each bro as they go along. But I actually really like the ending sequence. And actually, since watching it, I think the rest of the world has caught up, since not everyone got to see it early like me. And I think people agree, the final sequence with the big bad villains singing I'm Gonna Live Forever and all that mashed together is pretty good. It probably gives me vibes of the Shrek 2 finale with the I Want a Hero sequence. Maybe that's blasphemous to say, but I really like the finale. Kinda wish the villains won, but you know, I guess animated Jedward can't win all the time. Still, I'll likely still make a terrible movie of some sort on it, but I really like the finale. It was enough to boost it up just a little bit. Following that, we then have Chicken Run 2, which we weren't actually able to dissect in our latest Profits video because it hadn't released yet. But now it has, and it's, you know, it's alright. The original Chicken Run actually scared me as a kid, so I avoided it for years and years. You know, it's kind of traumatic. They decapitate a chicken in the actual movie. Its dead legs are just dangling there. And considering that is the most profitable animated stop-motion movie of all time, it's not a surprise it got a sequel, but I kind of went into it not expecting a lot, and I came out of it not getting a lot. It was, you know, okay. It was fun in its own little way, but it didn't blow me away by any degree. It was just kind of a greedy sequel. I'm glad that they made it, because I kind of enjoyed the first, but we didn't need it. I mean, considering the other things Aardman has made, it's like, sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad, and even their good isn't necessarily them. They have made goods themselves, but, you know, it's whatever. It's number 11 on our out of 14 list for a reason, because exactly that. Just read between all the that I'm apparently recording for this segment. Coming in at number 10, officially the top 10 list of our movies of 2023, it's the surprise hit from Adam Sandler. This is a Netflix movie that I already found out didn't do very well in thumbnail links, so I just completely clickbaited everyone when I made a proper review of it. Look, you remember the hazmat dog? That's Leo. That's the lizard movie. Apparently you don't like clicking on lizards. Still, this is a very wholesome movie. It has a lot of good elements to it, and it just feels like a nice, wholesome piece of advice that the young can clearly resonate with. I'm not young, so it doesn't resonate with me. I can't even grow back hair now, and I'm 27. But I'm very glad it avoided the boomer humor route that it could have taken, and was just lovelily telling advice for a clearly misguided generation of kids. Don't know why they fought an alligator by the end of it. Kind of unneeded. Not the best in that regard, but hey, it's 10 out of 10 for a reason. And that's a bad 10 out of 10. It's like the YouTube system of how good a video does. Coming in at number 9, sticking to the reptile front, we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Gotta love saying that title. It allows me to stretch out the video longer and longer every time I mention it. Great for retention time, right? You don't skip between Teenage and Mayhem, do you? Anyway, this movie might be a little bit blasphemous to put all the way down to 9, but I've kind of made my opinions known. I don't like this movie as much as the average person. It's beautiful on the art style, it's clearly hopping on the same visual aesthetic as Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, or The Bad Guys, and of course Into the Spider-Verse and Mitchells vs. Machines, but the actual plotline for this one, I didn't like. Or at least I didn't like the ending. It's basically a reverse of Trolls 3, I'm realizing. I loved the first 2/3, maybe 3/4. The moment Fly becomes a Superfly big guy and then steps around and talks like he's playing in a 3-year-old's playpen, I kind of lost interest. But the visuals are fantastic. The new direction for each of the characters, giving them different names. Brilliant. Oh my god, there's 2 Leonardos. It's the Leonardo movies put together. I loved all other elements of this movie. In fact, I think I'd be far more interested in whatever sequel that they're definitely making over this original. It just has the standard thing of, because it's the first in a franchise or trilogy of some sort, it plays things very, very safe. Which is legitimate storytelling, but not exactly enticing, so it's 9th on our list for a reason. Coming in at number 8 is one that probably doesn't even count as an animated movie, but damn it, it's my list, I gotta do what I want. Now, admittedly, I read this wrong, so this is actually Special 1, not Special 2. I'll get to that later. Yes, I am using up 2 slots for this, I apologize. So there, you'll probably get to hear my full-on ramblings about Attack on Titan, but this is the second to last episode. It's like an hour long, fully kind of made with the Blu-ray-esque experience. It is just phenomenal. I wished I could have watched it on a cinema screen, finally culminating a story a decade in the making. And though the plot beats that it actually covers aren't quite as fantastical as Special 2, it still holds a damn good place in my heart. To get any TV series, let alone an anime, a full-on 60-minute dedicated piece that really delves into every moment and highlights it as best as it can, the fact that it adapts some of the manga story beats to expand it far more in the animated form, it's just brilliant. I don't think anyone has any major complaints about this special, other than the fact that it stops early. But considering there are so few animated movies of this year, I'm gonna let these guys take on 2 slots. And this original special is something really special. If you haven't seen Attack on Titan, please go watch it. Don't worry, you're not even gonna be able to perceive what's going on screen here. Probably. But it's good stuff. For the number 7th on our slot, we then come round to Pixar. Used to be my favorite studio, kind of been faulting in recent times. Elemental was not a movie I was looking forward to. I thought it was just, what if elements had feelings? Generic romance. What a waste. Turns out, it was all just marketing schmuck. Everyone seems to be struggling with their marketing at the minute. What? No, that was before the strikes. I can't even say it was the strikes' fault. Regardless, Elemental turned out to be a really brilliant immigrant story with a lot of interesting moving pieces that made it far better than what it was assumed to be. It's not blowing things out of the way. It is 7th on this list for a reason, but for what it is way beyond the expectations I had, and I think that gives it a pretty darn good boost. Now, I'm not necessarily looking forward to Elio, so hopefully it's the same thing going on there. At the very least, Inside Out 2 looks and seems and assumably is pretty great. So, that's a 2024 ranking. We'll get there next year. So, moving on to number 6, we then have Nimona. Now, I have a little bit more of a personal attachment to this movie, just because it was an age-old cancelled production back in the days of Blue Skies, and I made a whole video about it being deleted and gone, and be like, I wish it would come back. It could do so much good things for people that want to be a little bit more represented. It tells a new, original tale that could be really fun to see, and hey, Netflix, they're doing pretty damn good this year. I'm glad at some of the things they've been adapting, and though they still do delete animations every now and again, they didn't with Nimona, and I damn well enjoyed it. I do think it's a little bit strange, like the lighting aesthetic, it's a little bit weird, but like, it was fun overall. I didn't expect all of the story beats it went with. It was just a damn good thing that I'm glad got made. And that's what these movies are all about, right? Just enjoying yourself, having a good time. I had a good time with this movie. I don't need to dig into it any further than that. I enjoyed it more than Elemental, and a little bit less than Number 5, welcome to the halfway mark of this video. Since you've made it halfway through, I've got to tell you to subscribe. It's part of my contract that I haven't written and it's made by me. Come subscribe if you haven't already. This award series I'd like to kind of do every year around December. I think it's just a nice way to celebrate stuff from the past, as well as maybe looking onwards to the future. Is it weird to give 2024 awards now? I've already done it with the sequels I'm most anticipating. Whatever, it's fine. If you have other suggestions for future awards you'd like me to give for animated movies, I've got plenty of daily slots this month. There's a solid 10 video slots I've still got to make. I'm trying to upload daily, as close as I can, so let me know your thoughts. Subscribe if you want to come along and see said awards, or want to see coverage for every animated movie of 2024. I'll try my best. But for now, let's get back to ranking the best 2023 animated movies. See you on the other side. Scott Pilgrim takes off. Now, I might have a little bit of a recency bias going on at the minute, but hey, I guess that just makes me even more fitting for making a replacement Oscars here. But I'm a big fan of the Scott Pilgrim universe. It doesn't make sense. I only just realized I don't understand half the things that are going on, but to take an age-old story, adapt it into the ultimate version of itself, with an art style that is representative correctly of the graphic novel styles of old, and then not just retelling that story, but reintegrating that story into a modern age that both upgrades the old story with a recontextualization of all of those plot beats, but then telling a brilliant original story on top of it, and just upgrading the entire franchise as a whole in one massive regard, whilst keeping all these old references and connections to all the old cast and even Edgar Wright involved. This is like the penultimate adaptation, sequel, reboot, twisty-do. Twisty-do? Alright, we'll go with it. Like, I cannot understate how much of a prowess this kind of series is. Whether you call it an anime or not, this is a damn good project. Netflix really are getting some W's this year, huh? At least from the output they've actually made. Some other things are a little bit more controversial. Yeah, that'll be another awards list at some point. The worst studios of 2023, but we'll get there when we get there. Still, if you haven't seen Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, you think it's just another cartoon of a movie you've already seen. It is not. Watch it, please. Be amazed. Or at the very least, be... oh. Duh. But now, as we are in our top 5, we're talking about the proper good projects here, and coming in 4th is the Super Mario Bros. Movie. I never thought an Illumination movie would do as well as it did on this list for me, but it did. Last year, I was surprisingly impressed by Minions 2, and clearly here, Illumination are just showing off. The animators know what they're doing, the story writers can make some good things, maybe it's because Shigeru Miyamoto's involved, but to make a Mario adaptation, and make it work, a character that's generally pretty mute, now working up front and center, even if it's Chris Pratt's voice coming out of it, and making it work, with all these references to Star Fox and Mario Kart Rainbow Road, and a Pikmin reference! It's all just fantastic. There were so many things that needed to go right for this movie that I'm sure it was a ball ache to organize, but they nailed it. They did it fantastically, and I really look forward to seeing the sequel with Yoshi. Like, I'm hooked now. I'm just as much of a classic consumer part of the problem guy as usual, but hey, it's slightly original telling. Yeah, it is original. It's original storytelling. Might be a story as old as 1986, but it's original storytelling. It's made for the movie. It's slightly different. I'm even just waiting around to finally be able to see the Mario Bros. Movie shorts that they're going to be releasing on DVDs and hopefully on streaming at some point. All about how Kamek's going to be trying to get Bowser out of his little cage. What can I say? I really like Mario. Practically how I started my career on YouTube, doing Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door Let's Plays, and, well, yeah, it's mostly just the Paper Mario games. And even that's getting a remake. Oh, that's a good time for me. And Pikmin 4 won a Game Award? Whoa, I'm just living my best life over here. As long as I only care about pop culture, video games, and movies. That's the side of life that's good. Anyway, moving on to number 3, we have, and maybe it's cheating that it's getting a second slot, but oh well, it is the Attack on Titan Final Season Part 3 Special 1. I'm that guy. I'm the guy that says, hey, you want to get into anime? Watch Attack on Titan with me. I have introduced it to 3 or 4 friends, and I have watched it 8 billion times over. To the point I have literally re-edited all of Attack on Titan to be in chronological order. I went through and watched it all on my Premiere Pro to take every flashback and put it in the past to watch them all in a row. I'm that kind of fan. I don't know why. I don't think I'm ever gonna like anything like Attack on Titan again. I'm still going on TikTok now and watching people react to it all the time. I have a problem. What can I say? I really like cannibalism, I guess. Still, for the finale that people have been waiting for 10 years and I only had to wait 2. This was just an outstanding display of animation glory. I'm bloody well glad I'm not any of the animators, but there's so much quality going on to all these Sakuga shots and frantic flailings around. I can't not say that I was just blown away from start to finish. Admittedly, I wished I hadn't read the manga so I could have enjoyed each story beat directly rather than just being like, wow, this is well adapted, wow, they upgraded this bit and they changed this, wow, it's in color now, but, you know. Still, it's damn good. I wish I could erase my memory of this series and rewatch it again. But alas. And with that out of the way, let's now talk about a few honorable mentions. Namely, there are two movies I just haven't seen yet this year because they're not out yet, those being Illumination's Migration, which I don't think is going to be very high on the list, and The Boy and the Heron, which could be going either way, to be honest. As I understand it, this movie is an incredibly Studio Ghibli movie. It's like the penultimate Studio Ghibli movie. And sometimes that works for me, and sometimes it doesn't. I think it depends on the mood. I really like some of the side stuff Studio Ghibli makes. Spirited Away is a little bit too generic almost for me. It's too much. But I can't wait to hear Robert Pattinson's voice acting. There are then other movies I want to root for, but I just didn't see, like Under the Boardwalk or... You know, I don't think I really want to root for the others. Maybe Winnie the Pooh, the horror movie. And then otherwise, on the live action front, I'd really like to boost up the FNAF movie. As much as that wasn't that great a movie, it was a damn good fan service kind of production. And of course, the Barbie movie. Brilliant, all round. It's just not quite relevant. Oh, and also, We Have a Ghost. I don't see anyone talking about that. Really enjoyed it on Disney+. Weird little project, but enjoyable. David Harbour. He's also my favorite Santa, so maybe I've got a bias. Anyway, let's get back to the number 2 slot for the best animated movie of 2023, as decreed by me, a dude. It is Puss in Boots 2. Now, this is the fan favorite, I think, from most people. I don't quite like it that much as the most hyped up guy, but I can recognize a good movie when I see it. The animation is great, the story is great. It does have a little bit of a Marvel ending of, oh, I'm gonna boat away to the Shrek family now. But it was nice to have a villain that was evil for the sake of being evil, and he's just fun to watch. They had all the different fairy tale elements coming together. It was just really nicely made and really, really enjoyable. I can't believe I haven't made a proper review on it yet. I don't know what I was doing back in February. I was wasting time, apparently, just doing nothing. I'll fix that eventually. Yes, I have seen this movie. A lot of people think I haven't even seen this movie because I haven't reviewed it. No, I'm just bad at what I do. I'm gonna do a lot better this upcoming year. I want to watch practically everything animated. A bit easier than just watching everything at all. But yeah, damn good movie. Really, really liked it. The only thing stopping it from being number 1 is the number 1 slot itself, which I'm even more of a fanboy of. That being the number 1 highest ranking 2023 animated movie, at least according to me, has to go to Spider-Verse 2, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Yes, maybe that's a little bit generic. I think a lot of people have lost the hype of it, maybe because it was so long ago that it released at this point, but it is so beyond artsy. It is so fantastic with some of the shot lists that it decided to do. So much of the thematics and small details you can spot, like how Gwen thinks that their father is going to shoot them from the window reflection. It is so beyond artsy and just animation prowess that I couldn't put it at anything less than first. You may enjoy the plot and the idea and the themes and the visuals of Puss in Boots 2, but you're wrong. The visuals of Spider-Verse 2 make it far a better movie. I'm kidding. You can just have opinions. It's fine. Maybe it goes a little bit too far, to be honest. There's a lot of color, dissonance. The shots don't match up because it's not necessarily realistic. It's more thematic and metaphorical. But I really, really like that stuff. Plus, hey, there's a British guy in it. My name's Obi Brown. I love it. I want to see the London version of the Spider-Man universe. I will consume all of it. I know they said they wanted to release the next one, the March. That's not happening. It's already been delayed to March next year, and then it's been delayed more. So give them time. Let them work on it, Or as the old meme used to say at the beginning of this year, let them cook. That meme's dead now, isn't it? I assume so. Either way, those are the 14 animated movies, all ranked in order of what ones I find to be the best of 2023. Enjoy your awards, Spider-Verse. I'm sure you're gonna get plenty of Oscars anyway on top of it. Actually, I genuinely don't know who would get an Oscar for animated feature this year. I guess technically next year. Spider-Verse has a good chance. DreamWorks can win stuff because they have pockets. It'll probably go to Elemental because Disney didn't really deserve any wins. Did they get any wins? Disney didn't make a good movie this year. Elemental is Pixar, and then after that it was Wish? Wow. God, that's awful. Or live action stuff. Well, we'll all dance on Disney's grave this year coming up to the Oscars, and then mourn the complete misrepresentation of animated movies. I can't wait for another batch of hosts to say, animation's not cinema. Ha ha ha. Oh well. This was just a little side project to really give out awards where they're not really valuable because awards aren't worth anything anyway, unless you melt them into gold and sell them on eBay. Regardless, those are some of my opinions for this year. And we'll do another one next year, assuming this doesn't get disliked, bombed or something. You wouldn't do that to me, would you? Regardless, let me know your thoughts, since your opinions are just as valid as mine, over on our Discord server or down below. And for now, I'll leave you off here and do awards again next year. And some other awards this year, because I've only done 2 so far. For now, my name's been Daz, you didn't really care, and I'll see you in a little bit.